Today we shall be learning about the second part of the story, The Last Lesson, written by Alphonse Daudet. In the last class, we had learnt how Franz had become late for school and was rushing. He had not learnt the rule for participles and the weather was very pleasant. But then he controlled his desire and he went to school. On the way, he saw that there was a crowd of people near the bulletin board in the town hall. He did not stay there to read what was written on the bulletin board. He rushed to the school, having the feeling of scare that his teacher, M. Hemmel, would scold him that he was late. But that day, the teacher did not say anything, rather, quoted that they were beginning without Franz, the little boy, stating that each and every one was important. M. Hammel's point of view was quite right because this was the last lesson that he was delivering, and he realized that everyone was precious to be included in the last lesson. When little Franz settled down and saw in the surrounding, he felt very surprised. There were many changes in the class today. He realized that his teacher, Mr. M. Hemmel, was wearing a beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and little black silk cap. This kind of a dress was worn by the teacher only on special days, on the days of inspection, or on prize days. The whole school seemed so strange, so silent. And the most surprising thing that Franz noticed was on the back benches, the village elders were sitting. Old Hauser, former mayor, former postmaster, and many others. Surprisingly, everybody looked very sad. He did not know till here that an order had come from Berlin on the ban of learning French language. Franz was really surprised, but he did not know the background. He saw that his teacher climbed his chair and in the same serious and gentle tone in which he had asked Franz to come and settle down, he started his address to the whole class. M. Hemmel said, "My children, today I am going to deliver the last lesson because an order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. A new teacher shall be coming tomorrow. So this is the last lesson that I am going to deliver. I was so shocked. These words were a thunderclap for me. Oh, such bad fellows, they are wretches. So that is what they had put on the bulletin board in the town hall. That is why there was a crowd of people. That is why Vector was saying it is okay, you shall be able to reach your school on time. I am so little. How can this be my last French lesson? I have not yet learnt to write. Why should I not learn more? Oh my God, how can this be? Now I am realizing how I had been wasting my time. Why did I not learn my lessons? Why did I procrastinate, postpone my learning? Why did I waste time in searching birds' eggs, having fun on the sliding? My books, they seemed such a nuisance. Oh no, they are my old friends. My teacher, Mr. M. Hamill. How he seemed so cranky. No, he is very important. He has been trying to teach me. How can he go? How will I learn without him? Oh, poor man, my teacher. It was in the honor of the last class that he was wearing his special dress. It was to give honor to French language, to the teacher for his 40 years of service, that the village elderly men had come and they were occupying the back benches of my classroom. It was in the honor of the teacher and the respect for the country, France, that everything had been done in that manner. Oh my God, my country is no more mine. I have become a slave. Prussians are my rulers. While I was still in the state of a shock, Mr. M. Hamill called my name. Franz, your chance. Please recite. What would I not have done to recite the frightful rule for the participle? I wanted to say it very loud, very clear. But I had not learned anything. When I tried to convey, I got confused, mixed up. I kept holding on to my desk. My heart was beating. I was not having the courage to look up. Realizing that I had not learned anything, I did not know it. My teacher, Mr. M. Hamill, very gently, in a solemn manner, conveyed that he would not scold me. He told me that I should feel bad enough that I had not learnt my lessons. I had been procrastinating, realizing that I had a lot of time. But look at the irony of the thing. Those Prussians are going to make fun of us, stating, "Oh, you are Frenchmen. You do not know how to speak and write in your own language. How do you say that you are Frenchmen?" Dear little Franz, you are not the only one who should repent for whatever has taken place. I shall be humble enough to admit, to confess that all of us have not done enough to retain our own language, to nurture it. Your parents wanted little more hands at work for earning little more money, so they did not send you for attending the classes. And I also told some of you to water my flowers. Sometimes I went for a holiday for fishing and I missed my lessons. Then, from one thing to another, my teacher, M. Hemmel, kept talking about how beautiful French language was, the most beautiful, the clearest language in the world. My teacher was trying his best to make his last lesson as the lasting one. Language is an important means of communication. It is our identity. M. Hemmel was trying to create a lasting and permanent impression for igniting the flame of loving one's mother tongue. He said, French language is the most beautiful language in the world, the clearest, the most logical. We must protect our French language amongst us. He gave a beautiful example. He said, when people are enslaved, as long as they keep communicating with each other in their own mother tongue, they are able to break the chains of slavery. They are able to create the feeling of love for their motherland. I would like to quote here the example of a very popular song which had ignited the love for freedom for our own country India. सरफरोशी की तमन्ना आज हमारे दिल में है, देखना है जोर कितना बाजुए कातिल में है. How language matters so much. How it can break the hardest chains of slavery imposed on anyone. I was so surprised. I was understanding everything conveyed by my teacher, Mr. M. Hemmel. It was amazing. My teacher perhaps was teaching in the best possible manner. And I was also listening to my teacher in a very attentive way. It seemed my teacher was so committed that he wanted to give whatever he knew before going away. He so much desired that everything that he knew should enter in our heads in one stroke. For explaining the word fortitude, I always quote the example of Titanic. The ship was sinking. As you can see in this picture, it is almost perpendicular. There are bandsmen on the right hand side top still singing the hymns for soothing the souls of the other people. Everybody was sure that the ship would sink and everyone would die, yet Ban's men were heroes. They had the fortitude of personality and character. They were trying to give comfort, even at this point of time, to the others. And this same feeling of fortitude was preserved by M. Hemmel in his last lesson, and that is why his lesson became a lasting lesson. For the last day, in the last lesson, my teacher M. Hemmel had brought new copies for us, written in a beautiful round hand, France, Alsace, France, Alsace. The words looked like little flags floating everywhere in the schoolroom, hung from the rod at the top of our desks. It is his fortitude that he could manage it in this manner. Everybody was working quietly. The only sound which could be heard was the scratching of pens over the paper. Usually, whenever a class is going on, if an insect like beetle comes over, there is a lot of disturbance. But today, beetles were also not paid any attention to. Even the littlest ones who were using the stencils for learning, they were also focusing on their work without uttering anything. Everything was quiet, and suddenly I heard the sound of the pigeons cooing in a very low manner. I asked myself, these Prussians have imposed a ban on the learning of my mother tongue, French. If they can do so, if they can be so ruthless, if they can be chauvinist, will they tell pigeons also to coo, to sing in German language? Because they want each one of us to become their slaves. Will they deprive the natural liberty of the pigeons also? Whenever I looked up from my writing, I saw my teacher, Mr. M. Hemmel, sitting in his chair, not moving, gazing, looking at one thing or the other, as if he wanted to store everything in his mind, as if he wanted to preserve the memories forever, as if he was cherishing the time spent here for 4 decades, for 40 years. Imagine how he must have felt. Everything seemed same in the classroom. Only the desks and the benches had become old, worn smooth. The walnut trees in the garden had become taller. The hop vine which M. Hemmel had planted on his own had started twisting about the windows to the roof. How miserable M. Hemmel, my teacher, must have felt. Poor man, he could hear the sound of the trunks being packed by his sister Upstairs, the order had come from Berlin to leave the country the next day. A new teacher was going to come. The districts of Alsace and Lorraine had been taken over by the Prussians. A ban had been imposed on the learning of French language. My teacher had the fortitude, my teacher had the courage to hear every lesson to the very last. After writing, we had a lesson in history. The babies were also singing, chanting, Ba, Be, Bi, Bo, Boo. Old Hauser, he was holding the alphabet book primer in both hands, and he also spelled the words with the little ones. He was crying. His voice was trembling with feeling. It seemed so funny. We wanted to laugh and we wanted to cry. We wanted to laugh because an old man was reading in such a funny manner. And we wanted to cry because this was the last lesson being delivered. There will not be any teaching of French language anymore. All at once, the church clock struck 12. The hour of catastrophe came. Also heard the trumpets of the Prussians who were coming back after the exercise. My teacher stood up. He was very pale. I never saw him look so tall. He was seeming so tall because he had suddenly earned a lot of respect in everyone's heart. He wanted to convey the last message, but he could not speak. He choked. He turned towards the blackboard. He took a piece of chalk and he gathered all the courage and strength that was left, and boldly in large font he wrote on the blackboard, Long live France! And he leaned his head against the wall, which shows that he was realizing the unbearable loss that had taken place. And only with a gesture of his hand, he showed the school is over. The students may go. There will not be any learning of French language anymore.